Hello everyone and welcome to our I Pick My Butt video. More Survivor.io and the Void Power, the new weapon that's been introduced to the game. How is it? Is it OP? How do you play it? Well, we're going to go over it in this video, give you a full weapon guide on the Void Power, and really show you everything from what skills to use, how to actually play it, and what the actual numbers are that this thing's going to produce. Now, I'm not going to lie, going and spending $100 on gems just to open up all these chests in order to get this did not feel good. And this was last night, so I had a whole night of going, oh man, I just spent $100. But by today, when I went and actually played it, I realized this is actually a lot of fun, and this is like no other weapon. And I gotta say, there's nothing like that feel when you pull that S-grade item out of a chest. So the way this weapon works is as the projectile finally hits an enemy or gets far enough, it'll go and release a black hole, and it'll suck any enemies into them where they'll be taking continuous damage, and eventually it'll blow up and do even more damage. Now, as far as the weapon span on this, it's the exact same as the revolver. You can see the Void Power on the left, the revolver on the right, and bam, voila, they're the exact same. Now, as far as the reload of the weapon itself, it is slower than the Light Chaser, but it is slightly faster than the shotgun, although it still feels like the shotgun with how slow it is to actually get those attacks out. So I found 2, if not 3 skills that work really good with this weapon, and the first one being the Exo Bracer, which ironically enough is also going to evo this weapon. Now, the great thing about the Exo Bracer is it's going to keep those black holes out there longer, which will cause more enemies to get sucked into them. The next one is going to be the Energy Cube, because it is a slow weapon. We really want to get that cooldown going as fast as possible so we can pump out those black holes, so then once again they'll stay out there longer. And the last one was kind of an iffy one. I was playing with it. It does seem to help to get the extra range, and that's the HE fuel, which is going to give all ammo and weapon range plus 10%. By the time it was maxed out, I could notice a difference in it, really making sure that I was stretching far away if I needed to get those extra hits. But if you do hit an enemy before then, it will stop right there and cause a black hole to pretty much pop up right in front of you. So in this video here at 1 star, the Void Power is hitting for about 14k, and that explosion at the end is also hitting for 14k. The description for 2 stars is the black hole damage will now be doubled, and I was actually hitting at 17k, so 14k up to 17k from going 1 star to 2 star. At 3 stars, we're going to have it where the black hole size is now going to be doubled, and for comparison, here it is from before and after the 3 star. And you can see we're just matching up the size of the Guardian, but that's a good amount of size that that black hole increases. And I definitely don't think I can argue with this guy. I'm just going to roll with this one. Now at 4 stars, we're going to have adds more black hole damage, and this is always kind of a tough one to go by numbers inside the game, because as you get further into the chapter, you're going to find that monsters are tankier and they're going to take less damage. But before having this actual upgrade, we were hitting for about 5,000 a tick inside that black hole, and now we're up to about 9,000. As far as that first initial hit, I was still seeing numbers of about 17k. At 5 stars, we're going to add even more black hole damage, and now I'm seeing numbers inside of 12, 13, 14, and even 15k inside the black hole. Now when we take this thing to Evo, it's going to be called Gloom Nova, and it's described as life and death. Now, I didn't notice any differences as far as damage numbers. We are going to get a visual change though, where we now have these meteors that fly around the black hole. Unfortunately, they don't do any damage, at least from the footage I was looking at. And when the black hole finally explodes, we're now going to have a force field that pops up that will repel enemy. As far as gameplay and strategy, starting off with the slow cooldown on this, you definitely want to make sure you're taking a shot in front of you and then making the next shot hit behind you to kind of just hit both sides of it. This board is actually perfect because that's the only way they're going to come from, but it might be a little bit trickier when you're getting into an open map. When going up against bosses or elites and you hit them with the Void Power, the black hole will actually travel with them and continue to do damage to them. So a nice little feature inside there. The other thing is too, is it will wipe out poison. So another thing to be great against those nasty butterflies, which I absolutely hate. They're just annoying if anything. And I did try the strategy of running over to the black hole after I shot it to see if it would kind of help me out, but it seems like if you stand inside it, you're just going to get hit by the enemies that are in there. On the other hand though, if you're running through the black hole, it pretty much makes it where those enemies don't hit you. At least for most of the mobs that I've found, I could just constantly run towards the black hole, go right through it, and have a nice clean breakaway. When it came to getting an Evo, I did try to run from bubble to bubble, but it just seemed way too complicated and my timing was off, so I was taking damage doing that. But definitely running through the black hole is the better way. So this is what I have for you guys on the guide. Let me know if this was helpful. If you haven't already, join the Discord. A lot of people in there. We're chatting about this whole new weapon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, I pick my butt.